Okay, let's see if we can do 4 minutes.
Yep.
So I drank my swig. I don't know. Do they have swigs where you're at?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Good.
Or no, well, it's a description of the amount you're drinking. Never heard of an actual swig.
No. I mean, like the actual like soda shop.
No, I've never heard of that. We don't have one. Yeah.
Okay.
4 minutes.
Damn it.
We're horrible.
Welcome to Straight for the Muzzle, folks, where we are anything but straight. My name is Space.
And I'm Ruby.
And we welcome you to our show, which is about what today?
It is about trans rights or human rights. That's what we've called it.
We were meaning to have this come out in Pride Month, but
Oh my God.
Didn't really happen. So it's been a really interesting few months. I'll just say that.
Ditto, which I haven't been here in forever, and I'm so happy to be back.
But before we go to that, okay, going back to the drink that I'm drinking. So Swig is like a soda shop. I guess they have another one called like Sugar Rush or Soda Crush. Ever had? No, that's a game.
That's Candy Crush.
That's Candy Crush. We have like soda shops where you're at, just like specific for sodas, like dirty soda.
No, I don't think we do.
What?
I'm double checking that in a minute. Hold on. I'm looking. Better do it on my phone so you don't hear the click of my keyboard. Oh, there are a couple. Holy hell.
What is this? We got Swig. And there's like another one. Like, what's the other one? There's another one that's like Sodalicious.
There are none nearby, but I'm definitely going to make a trip to one of these.
It's so good. So I have this one. It's Cherry Bomb. It's Pepsi. No, it's Cherry Pepsi with coconut cream and 2 other ingredients. And I would have never thought to put those ingredients together, but it's so good. And I know it's so bad for me, but I don't care because it tastes delicious.
Cracker Barrel at one point had a soda shop line, and it was a blood orange soda, and I'm to this day not forgiven them for taking it off the menu.
We have a Cracker Barrel out here.
Oh, we have one every other street, but they used to have a blood orange soda, and I want it back. I need it.
I love blood oranges are my absolute favorite fruit in the whole world.
Yep.
Ooh, blood orange Italian soda. Oh, you know who makes it? I know where you can get. I know where you can get some.
Where?
You can go to the store. It's from San Pellegrino.
Send me that.
You will never guess how much sugar is in one can.
I don't give a damn.
Okay, because it's like 45 grams of sugar.
It's soda. I don't look at the sugar count on soda. I don't care.
You know, San Pellegrino is usually like the sparkling water, but they have like canned sodas too. And they fly off the shelves like crazy here in Utah.
I will see if I can find some here.
Anyways.
Yeah, back to the show.
I just had to make sure you knew what it was that I was drinking because it's so delicious. We're talking about transgender rights, and we've got a couple of things that we're going to go over. We're going to go over some history. We're going to go over Ruby's history of transitioning, some present day anti-LGBTQ laws that are happening across the states of America, and then we'll talk about some resources.
Beware, there is a language warning because I am not going to be able to hold my tongue.
Oh, yeah. So recommend that you definitely wear headphones for this one and not listen to it out loud. We are going to be swearing a lot.
Yes.
So that PG-13 rating has just turned to an R. And we'll see how a lot.
Equivalent of our book banning episode where we had a bingo card.
Oh, yeah. So I will have Crow keep track of how many swears we say. And who knows? Maybe we'll think of something like maybe we'll get a prize for it. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
So what does it mean to be transgender? It's a broad term, but
I mean, I know I could pull up Google right now and type in, hey, what's the definition of transgender? But to sum it up, it's the ability to be yourself, period. Because I've seen the phrase before of, I didn't come out as transgender. I am transgender. I just stopped pretending I wasn't. Because it's truly just being who you're supposed to be, regardless of anything else. But now to actually look up the definition.
Because there's like transgender, there's transsexual, there's the one that I hate. No, I don't hate the term, like what it stands for. I just hate the name of it.
The definition of transgender is denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not match that which corresponds on their birth certificate. So, as I said, being yourself.
Being yourself, essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Going over into the history, there's a lot in history that has happened. What I've been able to kind of gather is that from 7000 BCE, which is before Christ existed, if you believe in that.
Or before Common Era for you atheists.
Oh, yes, Common Era. That's a better way of saying it. All the way up until like the 1800s, like early 1900s. The term like to be transgender isn't necessarily what we think of it right now. I think back then for them it was more cross-dressing, light drag, maybe feels like they're the opposite sex, but they're just not sure how to go about it per se. As to what we have it now, which is transitioning and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. As far as we can tell, it's existed since 7000 BCE.
In all honesty, it's probably lasted as long as anybody. I mean, just because you don't have the word for it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Exactly.
furries existed a long time ago, and we didn't have the word for it until, well, if you've saw the documentaries.
Right? I swear, there's like a new documentary about furries
Yeah,
every
but
year, and I'm like, another one?
I pay attention to Ash Coyotes. I really could care less about any of the other ones.
I love Ash Coyotes.
I love her too.
So that was before the Common Era.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got...
I just love, like, and I know it's tragic and it happens and it's bullshit, but all I just passed my eyes over was tried for sodomy.
Where did you see that?
1347. I can't pronounce his name. Is tried for sodomy.
Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce this name. So 1347?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Rolandino Roncaglia.
Yes.
Wow, that sounds really sexual.
Yep. I'm pretty sure there's in the Urban Dictionary, if there isn't already, Roncaglia. I'm sure there's an action for that.
That is such an interesting name. The names are so like complex back then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what about the one before that though? 1322.
God.
You got Calanimus Ben Calanimus.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
But it's also kind of funny. I'm noticing a pattern of the major events or things being discovered that should be normal that were at one point illegal. Like, it's kind of insane.
Interestingly enough, so in 1395, John Reichener, known as Johannes Richer, and Eleanor. So Eleanor must be their other name.
Yes.
This is the word that I don't like. To me, it's like saying the C word. I just hate it. Transvestite prostitute, working mainly in London, but also active in Oxford, oddly specific. He was arrested in 1395 for cross-dressing and interrogated. It doesn't say what happened after that, but I'm sure death followed.
I do not want to go into that at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of weird. And also the other thing that people, like, everyone's saying that men dressing as women is a new thing. Literally has never studied Shakespearean literature, because at one point in time, every woman that was on a Shakespearean stage was a man dressed as a woman.
Yeah.
It's not something new.
I found something that's really, really interesting. In 1586, Barbara Brunner of something living in Lenzburg was discovered to be male under her clothes and is burned at the stake on May 28th that year. A man also burned for sodomy the same day between Lenzburg and Aurora, I guess. But it's unknown if the two executions were related. Now, this is the interesting part. The executions were recorded in the chronicles of Johann Jacob Wick, also known as John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
How rad is that?
Interesting. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, it's not great. I just think
it's not. It's just kind of,
No, it's awful. But John Wick is cool though.
Yeah, and when we get down to the 20th century, there is a big one right at the very beginning. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we could go through in these first like several millennia.
Yeah.
But most of it existed and people were afraid of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And we'll put the link in the information below so you guys can look at it and like kind of go through it yourself. A lot of it's not necessarily relevant, but it's really interesting. I mean, if you really want to like look into the actual history of what we're talking about, this will probably be a good place to go.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, though, it is Wikipedia, so it can be edited and changed at any given time. So I always like to say, hold the information like a grain of salt when it comes to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
If you can find it somewhere else that matches, you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
The big one is at the Carl M. Bayer one.
That one is a big one. It's 1933.
Okay.
which I didn't realize that one existed until after I started my transition.
Before we get to that, in 1906, this is a huge one,
Mhm.
Carl M. Baer, in December of 1906, becomes the first transgender person to undergo sex reassignment surgery.
Yep.
Can't imagine what that would have been like.
It probably was about as rudimentary as amputations were. It functioned.
Yeah. A year after that, the word transsexual is used to mean between or applicable to both men and women. Modern usage of this and related words developed later.
So, yeah, 1931 onward.
But it's the one that you're talking about, 1933. Why don't you?
It is 1933. Nazi Germany burned the library of Magus Hirschfeld's. It was the Library of Magus Hirschfeld's Institute for Sexual Research. They basically took everything out of it, burned it, and that was pretty much, majority-wise, the history of transgender.
Yeah, it's crazy enough. The longest known or the oldest known university to study sexuality was located in Germany in 1919 to 1933. So it's huge for that to be burned.
And actually, right above that, Lily Elby was the first woman to receive a vaginoplasty and, believe it or not, a uterus transplant.
What's a vaginoplasty?
Basically turning the male genitalia into the female genitalia.
Oh, it sounds painful.
Not as bad as you would not actually. I mean, it's surgery. You're asleep for most of it.
True.
It just requires a lot. It requires a lifetime of upkeep, which is why
were they
I'm not
at
picking
that
it.
time, though? I mean, do they have anesthesia?
Probably. I mean, you're in 1931, so you're post Civil and Revolutionary War. So I'm pretty sure they had anesthesia at least. Immune system rejection. The thing that caused their death was an immune system rejection of the uterus transplant, which doesn't shock me. Again, 1931.
In 1941, the first use of the English word transsexuality is printed and recorded in the Oxford English Dictionary, indicates the word is already in use, regarded by that author a rare synonym for homosexuality, which is really interesting.
Yeah, that I actually was thinking the same thing.
And then you go into like the 1950s. Let's see. 1957, the term transsexual is used by a U.S. physician in a public lecture. Awesome.
I would have loved to sit in on that lecture, actually.
Ooh, this is an interesting one. 1950, we're kind of going backwards here, but Glenn or Glenda, an American film featuring transgender surgery and transvestism, is released. A promotional poster for this film advertised that it would include a character that had changed sex. Interesting. I don't know how that would have gone over during that time period. If that would have been more like for the medical field, or if that literally was. I'm going to look at this, Glendon. Oh, you should hover over it.
Yeah, I've seen the poster.
Poster's awesome.
Just a second. Let me ask my counterpart something. Hey, honey, what's the play with the person going through transgender surgery? Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Isn't Hedwig like the name of the owl from Harry Potter?
I don't speak of that.
Oh, because of the game?
No, because fuck J.K. Rowling. There was the first one.
No, I'm pretty sure you've sworn before that.
Yeah, but fuck J.K. Rowling.
Wow. Yeah.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Why do I keep saying itch? It's inch.
Because itch sounds like fun.
Yeah. It is a rock musical.
That's not how I read that.
Yeah. Try to find the synopsis. It's a Jewish drag queen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Brave.
It's on my to watch list. Autumn has seen it, but... Oh, and there is a movie for it. Oh, there is a movie, and Neil Patrick Harris plays Hedwig.
Of course.
Oh, God. I love him.
So in 1954, the gender transition of Roberta Cowell, a British pilot during World War II, is reported internationally by the Associated Press. Let's see. Going into the 1960s, there's a lot. So in the 1960s, we got the Stonewall riots.
Yeah.
Everyone should be pretty, caught up on that. 1970s.
Which you've got to love. From that, you've got to love our transgenders of color, because those bitches are crazy, and they did a lot during the Stonewall riots.
I mean, if
Love
it
them.
wasn't for what happened in Stonewall riots, we wouldn't really be where we are today.
We wouldn't.
I'm sure we would be progressed somewhere, but nowhere where we are right now. It's
No.
all thanks to the Stonewall riots.
Yeah, that's why I have have several stickers around my office that say the first Pride was a riot.
Yeah, it's so important that if you're lesbian, gay, transgender, queer, whatever you are in this community, it's so important to know your history and just to know that it all started with the Stonewall riots.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure things happened before then, but that is the most important piece of history
By far.
by far. Nothing really happens in the 1970s that's really interesting. Well, I guess in 1980, the Human Rights Campaign Fund is founded by Steve Edian, one of those. And then we got...
Oh, wow. I actually didn't even know that.
What?
Aletha, in 1982, Aletha Garrison elected the first transgender state legislature in America. Holy hell.
Ooh.
Was not publicly known that she was trans when she was elected, but who the fuck cares? Well, actually, no. That's a slot against the We Can Always Tell community.
1999, the Transgender Day of Remembrance was founded by Gwendolyn Ann Smith, a trans woman who is a graphic designer, columnist, and activist, to memorize the murder of Rita Hester in Allston, Massachusetts. Since its inception, I don't know what TDOR means.
Trans Day of Remembrance.
Oh, duh. Duh! It's literally right there. I'm thinking like TLDR. What is it? The
Too long didn't read.
Yeah, has been held annually on November 20th and is slowly evolved from the web-based project started by Smith to an international day of action.
I did not know that, but I will be marking November 20th on my calendar, which is
So will I.
3 days before my birthday.
Ooh, that's special. That's so cool. You get to celebrate twice.
Oh, yeah.
Yay! In the 2000s, the transgender pride flag was first shown at a parade in Phoenix, Arizona.
Which I absolutely do not. I totally do not have that flag everywhere I could possibly put it.
I mean, everyone has their flag.
It'll probably end up as a tattoo soon.
Let's see. Then we have in 2001, anti-discrimination legislation, gender identity, U.S. state of Rhode Island.
And I want to note something. And I noticed this pattern as well. The anti-discrimination legislations, there's been several of them. Somehow we're still arguing these things.
Yeah.
Because anti-discrimination does not classify anti-discrimination against X. It should just be period. Carry on.
I shall carry on.
Yeah.
In 2004, the first all-transgender performance of the Vagina Monologues was held.
Yes.
If you don't know what the Vagina Monologues are, go Google it.
I have not yet seen it, but I know of it. And then I'm also thinking of Kinky Boots. So...
That's such a good movie.
Which, seeing as that the lead on Broadway was played by Wayne Brady at one point, just makes me love that man even more than I did before he came out as Pan.
Wow. Let's see. In 2005, the first European Transgender Council meeting was held in Vienna. In 2006, Kim Coco Iwamoto became the first transgender official to win statewide office in Hawaii. That one's not too shocked about that.
Yeah,
I always thought Hawaii was a gay state to begin with.
Yeah, it's Hawaii. They hand you flowers when you get off the plane.
Yeah,
I know that stereotype. I don't care. It just is a funny image.
It's just good.
But I also just... because I'm going off of also the arguments I hear on Twitter because I'm on there. It's 2023. 1906 was the first surgery. It's not new. Because all I've been seeing recently is this is a new thing. No, it's not. As John Oliver said, it just became normal. That's why the number of left-handed people went up after we stopped punishing people for being left-handed.
Wow. Okay. So
slightly ranting. Sorry.
No. So you mentioning anti-discrimination, it really starts to blow up right around 2007. So you have anti-discrimination legislation for gender identity in Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Michigan, Ohio, Oregon, and Vermont. Then go down to 2012, same kind of legislation for gender identity in Chile, Canada, and province of Manitoba. And then you have another one for
expression.
Yeah, for gender expression in Ontario. And then you go to 2013 and you get more for Cyprus, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. state of Delaware. And it just seems like every year there's always another one Is that Saskatchewan? Did I say that right?
Yep, you did.
Dang. I learned a new word.
Yeah, but also every argument I hear for why trans people should be like discriminated against leads to you're just a hateful jackass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or you are so disgusting that the stuff you're coming up with is on you, not us.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I actually am also trying to remember what year the bathroom bill was in North Carolina,
I think I remember.
which is still on the books. I do want to note, as far as I know, the HB2 is still on book to where I could get arrested for using the bathroom of the gender that I am.
In good news, in 2016, in March, President Barack Obama appointed Rafi Friedman Gerspin as the White House primary LGBT liaison, making her the first openly transgender person in the role.
Nice.
That's huge. Lots of good things happened under Obama. And then Trump came along and screwed everything up.
Trump came along. Fucked everything up. We're still getting over it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm also just trying to read them and trying to pick them because there is just so. Oh my God! October of 2017, Ines Ryu, I guess I'm pronouncing that right, became the first openly transgender Playboy playmate.
Ooh, fun.
She's cute.
In November of that year, Danica Roem was elected as Virginia's first transgender lawmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, Andrew Jenkins became the first openly transgender Black woman elected to public office in the United States in Minneapolis.
And in December, America's first all LGBT city council was elected in Palm Springs, California, which
I'm not shocked.
consisting of 3 gay men, a transgender woman, and a bisexual woman. That needs to be a musical. It probably was. With that combination of people, a musical probably happened while they were talking.
It sounds like it would be a good musical, too.
Yes.
Let's see, going down, or going up.
Yeah.
In June of 2018, Peppermint made her Broadway debut in The Go-Go's, inspired by musical Head Over Heels. The show began previews on June 23rd and officially opened, July 26th. Peppermint became the first trans woman to originate in a principal role on Broadway.
Yep, and we skipped in February of 2018, Laverne Cox became the first openly transgender person to appear on the cover of any Cosmopolitan magazine.
Wow.
I love her. We hadn't mentioned her yet. I needed to mention her because we skipped over the one person I don't want to mention.
What person did you not want to mention?
I don't want to say it, so I'm just going to scan up to see if I can refine their name. February of 2016.
February of 2016. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Moving on.
We're not going to say who it is. You can pretty much get from context. There was one very, very well-known celebrity that transitioned, and then they became very anti everything else after that, which was
they're the only trans person I know that's anti-trans.
And it makes absolute no sense. Like, how can you transition and then be anti-trans? It makes absolute no sense.
Yeah, fuck her.
So, screw you.
Yeah, where were we?
We're getting up there. We're like
Laverne. We were Laverne. I love Laverne.
Laverne and Shirley. And then let's see what else we got going on here.
2019 February, Nyla Rose became the first openly transgender woman to sign with a major professional wrestling promotion.
Jeez,
nice.
I don't like anything in.
I don't either, but if you can if you can transition and then pull off being a professional wrestler, good on you. Holy hell.
Good on you, yeah. I feel like June of 2020 is probably one of the reasons why we're all of a sudden seeing a lot of anti-trans bills. And that is the Trump administration passed a regulation removing protections for transgender patients under medical care.
I just want to note, I haven't put my middle fingers down yet.
They're still up in the air.
Yeah, when I saw it, my fingers have not gone down yet. And I don't know if they will.
Guy drives me nuts.
Yes. I cannot wait to see him in prison. And I said it. And yeah, since from then, it's just been it's been not really downhill. It's a weird kind of event.
Yeah.
Because while, yes, everything politically has been going down the toilet, but so much stuff medically has gotten better. So it's actually safer and easier if you can get into the fucking system. Because we're about to hit September, which is a very important day for me, or a very important month for me.
Well, let's talk about it.
Before we go to the next part of the podcast, I just kind of wanted to add my 2 cents of something that's pretty good that happened. And this kind of extends across multiple years. So originally starting in 1996, there was a Linux competition for a mascot. If you don't know about Linux, it's an operating system that's not Windows, so people on the tech side might know a little bit more about this. In 1996, the competition was held, and the winner was found to be Tux, which is a penguin. The character that took third place in the competition is actually an anthropomorphic fox named Xena, and it was originally a male anthropomorphic fox, but never really revealed to be male. In 2019, someone found out about this from their girlfriend and decided to redesign Xena. And without having any description, decided to make Xena into an anthropomorphic female fox. In 2020, the original designer of Xena reached out to the person who redesigned it and liked their art of Xena and had stated that he originally made it to be an androgynous character and that a lot of his friends had transitioned from male to female over the course of time and decided that Xena had also transitioned from male to female off screen over the course of that time. And so in June 2020, it was officially released that Xena is a trans male to female anthropomorphic fox character and is now kind of seen as the representative of the trans community in the Linux field.
Okay. September of 2020, if you go to the Wikipedia page, the person's not famous enough to be on there yet. That is when I came out as transgender. It was September 15th of 2020. My wife, I've always dressed feminine, cross-dressed, I've done drag, done it all. Love it. My wife said, go 1 week presenting female. 3 weeks later, so into October, I decided let's make this permanent because I didn't want to go back.
You found yourself.
Oh, yeah. Ruby came out and picked my name from Red from Once Upon a Time, and technically my first name came from another werewolf. So I'm a furry by name too.
That's cool.
I'm named after 2 werewolves. And then January of 2021, I started hormones. So I have never gone back.
Now you are male to female, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we were talking about this on the last episode. I believe Paradox also is in the mindset of transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about hormone blockers, such as like estrogen blockers, testosterone blockers, and all that jazz.
Now, I cannot speak for the other direction because I sadly don't have estrogen naturally. But for males, it is spironolactone or spirolactone. It just blocks the body from producing testosterone.
Which, I kind of want. I mean, I know I want testosterone. I don't want to get blocked. Sadly enough, I just don't produce enough testosterone to like on the average male. I'm like bare minimum. I got tons of estrogen, like tons more than the average male produces.
You basically have the reverse of PCOS.
Yeah. And it's very confusing because you feel one thing, you see another thing. I don't know. Sometimes I get dysphoric like in the mirror, and that's why I don't really look at myself in the mirror anymore.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
Before you came out, like officially came out, how long ago did you know you yourself?
It's one of those just like hindsight is 2020 things. I have been dressing. I wore my first dress in kindergarten.
Wow.
I went to a daycare and they had, of course, the setup where you could play house, and they had the dress up area for the girls where they had just cheap dresses you can get at Goodwill. And I wore them all the time until my mother showed up early to pick me up and saw me. It stopped after that.
I loved playing house.
It was, boys don't do this, and this is where I'm not going to get to enjoy using using language, but boys don't do that. Everyone's going to think you're a faggot.
Oh, that is like
those things. In fact, later on, early college, when I actually did again start, I had 2 people call me during Halloween for lipstick, and I was like, how the hell? Come up and get it. I have it. I just had it.
Wow.
But when I started acting more feminine, my mom brought it up again. You need to start acting like a guy because everyone's going to think you're a faggot. And you remember how that made you feel. That delayed me another like 10 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, I hate to, like, I don't use that one. I'll use it jokingly, but only on my, like, obviously I'm joking. I hate actually using that word. That's my C word.
Yeah, that's basically, if there was a male equivalent to the C word, it would be
The F word.
I
Yeah.
can't bring myself to say it. I refuse.
That took everything I had to say. That's why I said, I'm about to use language I'm about to use bad language, and I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then, like, even her husband or boyfriend at the time would make the joke. It's like, oh, you'll make a good wife one day, because during events, I would be setting up the events. I would be helping the women cook. I would be setting up table things. I'd be doing the things that traditionally women do.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching football and talking about sports or talking about vehicles, which I barely know how to keep running as is. But that was all through my life. Even when I was younger, I still do it. I tilt my head naturally. So when I was younger and I tilted my head, I like had this like anime girl head tilt that made me look like a girl. And my mother loved pointing that out. And I had this like sly little grin that made it even worse. And then, yeah, after I moved to college, a religious college, I might want to add.
Oh, wow.
I started just exploring dressing feminine. Then when I moved, oddly, to my grandparents, I really took off trying, which was complicated because I had to hide everything. I was one of those that if I heard someone coming down the stairs, I would be throwing things into a suitcase and shoving it under my bed.
Just because you never know.
Yes. I purchased stuff on clearance at Walmart. Didn't use any breast pads or anything at the time. Those came later. Then, yeah, just as I said, I started at my previous job, or during 2020 before I quit. I worked at a sign shop where trans people were called it, because we had a customer come in that was trans, and she was called it by the owner.
What?
So definitely toxic environment. So nothing happened during that time. My logic was there was no point in dressing feminine at home because I'd have to change as soon as I leave the house. I'm in a small town. If anybody saw it, I'm screwed. I could lose my job. Now I don't give a shit. Then, yeah, as I said, I want to try dressing feminine again. And it's once I got into it and I went out of this house, I fell in love with it. It was me. Luckily, I came out during 2020 during mask ordinances because
Made it easier.
Facial hair is a pain in the ass.
Then
I got hit on by an old guy when I was just getting used to my breast forms.
No.
Oh no, that was so gender affirming it wasn't even funny, because it was, oh my god, I got past the old man hotness. I'm good. I can do this.
I just can't
Oh, I know it. Retrospectively, it is kind of ew and a little cringy, but in my head, it was, I'm terrified that I'm going to get called out as being a tranny, and I'm going to get my ass beat. I'm going to get hurt. My therapist actually asked immediately when I came out was, "Are you sure you're ready to put your life in danger?" Because I am. A lot of people don't realize that.
Are you still worried about that to this day?
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. Especially if I'm with somebody. I have a knife and pepper spray with me. If I could get my concealed carry, I would have it. I would have a gun on me at all times as well. It's because before hormone replacement, I actually was quite physically strong. I ain't now. I lost it all. Hormones, estrogen does some shit, and it reduces your muscle density as a male.
But you're emotionally strong.
I mean, I try to be. Emotionally strong and emotionally strong and a bitch are two different things.
Being a bitch is like being super strong in the moment.
Mm-hmm. But I have had those moments of, like, first happened when I left the card shop up here. I'm a Magic player, as I've probably voiced on a few times. So I was leaving the card shop at 1 a.m. in
you should
downtown.
Tell them. Oh, well, after this. Yeah, no, go ahead.
In my downtown area, I stepped out of the door, looked around, and realized at that moment that this is not a good idea, because the area I now have to turn is completely pitch dark. And I'm fucked. So I turned around, walked back in, looked at my buddy there, and I went, can you please walk me to my car? I just realized that I'm a woman walking in the middle of this town at 1 a.m. Please. Because I realized at that moment, I actually could get jumped, and I don't know if I could physically fight that. And then there's been several events of that where I forget in the moment that I'm now by every stretch of the term a woman, and that could get me in a lot of trouble in a lot of places. mostly going out too late or in bad neighborhoods and stuff, like leaving a convention at midnight and having to walk a mile.
That's got to be rough. Like,
it's rough to have to relearn that. I'm pretty sure any of our assigned female at birth listeners know exactly what I'm talking about and are going, "You're a dumbass." I'm still learning. Like, even down to a woman like got pissed off at me at Walmart when I was with my grandmother. If I was alone, I wouldn't have minded, but I can't do anything to help my grandmother now because I physically can't. I can outrun anybody, but physically, nope, I don't have it.
What about like going to the gym and just kind of retraining the body?
That takes discipline.
Yeah, it's discipline. I've got to like, I go to like water aerobic classes, but that's about as motivated as I can get.
Yeah, I get home from work. I'm tired. I don't want to go to the gym. I need to start mostly for my own like blood pressure and health, because anxiety plus couch potato does not help your physical health.
It does a number.
Yes. So, but even if I were to train, just basic weightlifting and training will get me nowhere close to what I used to be. It would probably get me to a point I could probably hold my own, but again, I'm better off running. I'm faster than most people.
So where is Ruby today?
I'm sitting right here.
I know you are. I know. You're still in the transitioning process. Has anything changed? Is any cool events coming up for you that you're excited about?
Here's the fun part is that the transition really always happens. In 2020, I spent most of 2021 going through puberty again in a gender I'm not used to. That was a pain in the ass. Thank God my wife stayed with me. She's probably rolling her eyes right now. But I am taking the next step in my transition, and there's a story behind it. I am going Monday for consultation for gender reassignment surgery. I cannot wait for it. I've been waiting since November of last year for just this consultation, which I'm going the easier route. There's the orchiectomy and then the vaginoplasty. The vaginoplasty I've already described. Orchiectomy is, for lack of better term, neutering.
Oh.
Complete removal of the testosterone making things. But I can still pee standing up, which is a benefit as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I joke with people.
I like sitting.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best of both worlds for me. But I don't have dysphoria about what's between my legs. I don't really care. It's just they produce testosterone, and testosterone is the thing that fucks with transitioning for me. In the reverse, it's the other story. But for me, my body will continue to make testosterone, and the spirulactin will constantly be fighting that. If I get rid of the testosterone maker, it'll speed things up a little more.
Does that mean you have to take more estrogen then?
It'll be I should actually.
Are you having to take more estrogen right now to counteract the testosterone?
I take 2 of my spirulactone and 2 of my estradiols, which is estrogen. I take 1 twice a day. And I take pill. I'm terrified of shots. I'm terrified of needles. The fact that I now have a tattoo is a miracle. But
I want to get a tattoo really bad.
I'll get into mine in a second. But I am doing this. When I first came out, and I said a line that upset me later on. My mom asked me when I came out to her, she wasn't pleased about it. She actually said she'd rather me have come out as gay because she knew how to process that.
Wow.
For my mother, that is the best case scenario. Me and her go together about as good as 2 nuclear bombs hitting each other. That's the best case scenario. So I told her that, and again, I'm going to say this line. I don't agree with me saying it, and I hate myself for saying it. I am not going to go through any surgeries just in case I ever have to go back. That was the exact line. I always, when I do something, have a backup plan. Always have a plan B. That's how I keep myself sane. I don't want a backup plan. So I decided later on that it's time to look into surgery because I basically want to tell the world I ain't going back. I'm doing this.
And you should.
Now, the reason I'm not going for the vaginoplasty is it requires a lot of upkeep. It requires a lifetime amount of basically making sure everything down there stays stretched. Okay. Zanny the Blue with the Drag It Show went through vaginoplasty about a year or so ago, and they still have to do upkeep. I suck at routine and I suck at consistency. I know better.
Right.
I'm not doing that. I just want the one that I can get rid of the testosterone makers. I'm done with it now. And the good news is you can always do the vaginoplasty later because all the stuff's still there. So yeah, hopefully that surgery will happen in November. Price difference is also the difference between like $5,000 and $20,000.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. The
Mhm.
expense of transitioning. It's not a pretty penny.
It is a pretty penny.
All right, it is a pretty penny. That's what I meant. Shoot.
This is coming from someone with insurance. Not the best insurance, but I still have insurance. I have to get all this stuff done, I have to be in therapy, which is after payment is like $100-something a session. I have to go to an endocrinologist. Now I'm up to the point where I can go once every 6 months.
That's where I'm at.
At one point it was like every month and then every 2 months. So blood work, all that was at one point like $145 a hit.
God, blood work sucks balls, and it's expensive. Like,
and then medicine, that is not my spironolactone. I think last time I picked up my meds for my hormones, and yes, it's for like a 90-day supply, but it's still like almost $100.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to do. To constantly, I can't miss pills. I am routine with them because the last thing I want is for my body to go, oh, we can make testosterone again at full strength. Got to protect the double Ds.
It is
which is what I'm up to.
Such a process to get my testosterone. My insurance will say, well, there's no reason for you to have it. And they're going off of a scale and a system that's built for the average male. I'm not the average male.
Nope.
Never have been and never will be. And therefore, the results that they're seeing, they're using that scale. And they're like, well, we don't really see a need for you to have it. So I think it's like here in Utah, it's like $80. I have like a pharmacy card that brings it down to $20, but still, like, it's frustrating.
And the thing is they do use that code, that idea of the normal person. One of my students, I love them to death. Or when I substitute, I still say my students, they're my kids. I love them. I will protect them with everything I have. The student has PCOS.
Explain to people what PCOS is.
My wife could definitely explain it better, but essentially, I'm going to get it wrong and I'm probably going to get lectured for it later. Lack of better terms, female body producing, there's cysts on the ovaries that sometimes can cause the body or causes the body to produce an excess of testosterone. PCOS can come with infertility, weight gain, facial hair, all of it. I got to see the students' I got to see what their prescription was. A high school student, female, has the same pill regimen as I do, and their blood work is identical to mine.
Wow.
That threw me off. So if they do pass these bills that say kids can't go on hormone therapy, she's fucked. Kids like that, it's going to suck for them. Because also, if the genetics code for baldness, guess what happens when testosterone enters the body? Middle fingers went up again. Huh?
That makes you horny.
No, a hair loss. A high school kid could literally be bald with a beard and be female. In fact, theoretically, the bearded woman in the old-time freak shows and sideshow circuses were most likely women with PCOS. Because they describe perfectly facial hair, thinning hairline, or receding hairline, facial hair, overweight.
Oh God, I hope I'm not going to lose my hair.
You have to be coded for it. So if your genetics say you're going to lose your hair. Luckily, I don't have the risk of hair loss, but even if I did, I won't anymore. Estrogen coming in will stops that for the most part.
I'll most likely chemically kill my hair.
Yeah.
I color it so much.
So do I. I got to re-dye mine before Commander Sealed, which is kind of the next thing on my list besides the surgery consultation is I'm not really a guest, but I definitely won my way in to a charity Magic the Gathering tournament where it's basically everything's going to Trans Lifeline, and I can't wait to play there.
There's two teams, right? There's the Trevor Project, and then there's
Trans Lifeline.
Trans Lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
cool. It's kind of a pseudo competition. Both of them are going to get quite a bit of money. It's just when you sign up for your tickets, you pick which team you want to go to. Because I entered in on the competition, I don't get to pick. I'll just get thrown where they put me. Would prefer Trevor Project. I'm a little biased because I've been involved with Trevor Project a lot longer than I have Trans Lifeline. So you were going to ask me something earlier when I said Magic the Gathering. So now I can't remember what it was.
Oh, you already mentioned it. You just mentioned it.
Okay. So yeah, going to this competition. And in all honesty, the Magic community has been the greatest thing since my transition. Besides the furries, y'all are awesome. I love you. But I also stream regularly with the Magic community. And if you're homophobic, transphobic, or racist, you don't last long.
I bet.
You last just about as long as you do in the furry community. you're gone very quickly. I've had a few people misgender me. They don't last long.
You get burned
Oh, yeah.
very quickly,
Very.
almost as quickly as how drama flies through the system.
Yes. Like we're even right now trying to get rid of in Magic the Gathering the term tribal. We're trying to get rid of that term because one day someone said a mono white human tribal deck, and we kind of went, no.
What's a tribal deck?
Tribal is in the game is set around a single creature type. Like I have a deck of almost all werewolves. So theoretically it's a werewolf tribal deck. That's the first time I've ever called it that.
Interesting.
Because we're trying to remove that word from the lexicon, which it's almost done it.
Listen to you talk makes me like go through the motions a little bit for you, but then also for myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I think about like my childhood and stuff, I never really was into boy stuff. I definitely played with Barbies. I definitely played with girl stuff, shoes, maybe some dresses here and there.
Yeah. And the thing is that, and this is something that I do want to note, just because like I was one of the things my wife's cousin or my cousin-in-law accused me of was going, oh, you're a girl that likes guy things. You must be transgender. No, that's not true. Never will be. There's a difference between, lack of better term, or for best way I can think of, there's a difference between being a trans woman and just being a guy that likes girly things.
And it's not like I'm a guy that likes girly things. There are things that like I do as a person that is more feminine than what a man would actually do. Like movements, actions, expressions, the way I talk sometimes. I've noticed it's very different than the quote unquote average man. So there's something in me. I don't know what it is. I don't necessarily know what I am. We'll just say that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm in the community and I know that I'm very gay, but I don't necessarily know if that's really who I am yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if I'm supposed to just like, it'll just pop like one day in my head and be like, oh, this is what you are, space. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's weird.
Well, as I said, to me, it popped in my head one day. I never thought about transitioning, never thought about making it this journey permanent. And then I was told present for 1 week and I felt I could not go back. I could not physically go back. I wouldn't let myself. But also, no matter what, you're still space. Ruby, I am mixing
You're
my head.
Ruby.
I know. Autumn, my wife, y'all have heard her on here before. Basically, I'm the same asshole. I just have a set of double D tits.
Man, will you take mine? Because mine are just, I've got boobs.
Oh, I love it. I love the fact that I'm at double D, but I would not mind going even higher. And these are natural, which I'm loving.
I love my boobs. I'm like, it's funny. My friends are like, for a gay man, you love talking and playing with boobs. And I'm like, they're just wonderful. They're just
boobs.
Why wouldn't you want to touch them?
And I'm still getting I still have grow days, which I'm having one today. It just means everything hurts. And I'm still, even today, still getting used to my like profile off my chest. So I still hit my boobs on door frames.
Wow.
Because I'm trying to like go sideways and then I hit something and it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts.
What's it like sleeping?
No different. I've always been a side sleeper and I always sleep with a stuffed animal. So now the stuffed animal just settles into my cleavage and I fall asleep.
That's what I was just thinking. There's this really stupid product on the market and I can't remember what it's called, but you put it between your cleavage and then you're able to you can sleep on your sides because apparently your boobs get in the way.
But they've never gotten in the way, but I've always slept on my side and slept with a stuffed animal. That's never changed.
I can't sleep on my back or my stomach. Mm-hmm. It has to be on my side.
I can sleep on my back on certain occasions. Like if I'm in my recliner, I sleep on my back, but that's rare. And also with the same thing, it's, I'm actually going to make the generalization. I don't usually make generalizations, but I'm going to. If you're transitioning, the before and after you is the exact same person. The after you is just the real you with nothing hidden.
Yeah.
Because I didn't become transgender in September of 2020. I discovered that I was transgender in September 2020. I've always been transgender. And as I said, I was in dresses in fucking kindergarten and I loved it. I dressed in female clothes most of my life. It's just now I have a word for it. I've made this journey. If I ever had to detransition, I would still be trans. I would still be Ruby. Doesn't matter. It just makes it more comfortable. And also a lot less comfortable because people are assholes.
Man, I don't want to go into the next section because it's all negative. I've got the feels.
But I'm trying to, it was one of the things I wanted to say, but I just can't think. But even the funniest thing, when I started transitioning, I had breast forms. Basically, fake boobs I put into a bra and wear them to have cleavage.
Ooh, nice.
I made a size that fits my body type. The first set I got, and in all honesty, the first set I got were foam, and they were about a D cup when put onto me. And when I put them on, I got upset because it didn't look right. Got larger sized. It felt a little more comfortable because I'm broader shouldered. It comes from being biologically male. Now I am a little bit bigger than those breast forms. I couldn't be happier with what I got. I don't ever plan on doing breast augmentation because I'm quite content with what I have.
Yeah, same. I just want to push mine up a bit. I think I'd be a little bit more confident if I actually did it.
Here's kind of the curse of being as old as I am and transitioning. I've gone through male puberty. My chest developed. All that muscle has determined which direction my boobs are pointing. They point outward instead of
Mine point
forward.
down.
Well, mine are working that way, but if you look at the direction that the center of them are, they're more pointed outward because your body, as a male, your chest developed to be muscle, and your body's now forming boobs on top of that muscle. A lot of people that can start hormone blockers before puberty, you can't tell. Everything develops normally because you go through your first puberty normally.
And if you're like me, who's XXY, the genetic workups of that masterpiece, I have my own nice little set of boobs.
Actually, my friend is one of the biology teachers at the school. There, if I'm not I forgot what combination there was, but there's like 15 different viable chromosome combinations for the sex chromosomes.
Oh yeah, there are tons.
There's like 15 some odd different combinations that are viable.
Yeah.
So I love when you're fucking homophobes and transphobes and jackasses go, oh, where it's XX and XY. That's it. It's like, oh, fucker, no, it ain't.
No, there's way more than that.
When you went through your Southern Banjo biology, there are two. But when you actually study biology, there's a lot.
I like to believe that is the simple mind of man talking. Yep. And that is basically my way of saying, fuck you. I call them the simple mind.
I just throw up a gif of a middle finger and I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah. I think there's even old people that are coming out.
Oh, yeah. I started my transition at 33. I think Zanny was 40. And now I'm 36 and I'm about to go through the next step. It doesn't matter. Now, yes, things work differently. If you start hormones earlier, your body adapts faster.
React better. Yeah.
If you're over 40, it adapts slower. There are things that mess with it, but nothing stops it. And I mean, surgery does wonders. I just can't go through surgery. This is the only surgery I can put myself through because once again, it's expensive. Because we didn't go in through that.
I'm ever going to put myself through, and if I can afford it, liposuction. That's about as only surgery I want to do to my body. Other than that, well, I can handle it.
We mentioned it earlier before we go to the sad things. Well, this is actually sad. The cost for physical transition, most of it is classified under plastic surgery, which means insurance doesn't cover it. And if I'm not mistaken, vaginoplasty starts at like 20 grand, I think.
Oh my God.
And you have to pay a good chunk of it up front and hope to God the insurance company refunds any of it. I have no idea what facial surgery is. I'm not getting it because I just when I read the description, I pictured a doctor standing over me with an angle grinder and I can't do it. And then of course, breast augmentation is the same as anything, except it's kind of like breast augmentation for when I say normal woman, assigned female at birth, a breast augmentation for a normal woman is cake. A breast augmentation for a trans woman is wedding cake. That word is expensive.
Oh yeah, wedding cakes are super expensive.
So being trans and getting breast augmentation, I can imagine it's more expensive because they're going to upcharge shit.
Now, I'm sure there are programs out there that are, aligned with our community that can help, but it's not going to cover everything. You're still going to have to pay a lot out of pocket.
I do know some places, if you're on disability, some states will cover it 100% if you're on disability, but it's few and far between. I know one of them is Chicago.
I know the jails will cover some jails, not all of them. Some jails will actually cover it, which I'm just like, maybe jail is not the place for you to transition.
Yeah.
It's not the brightest idea. You're just
There's a
asking.
million jokes that I can say, but oh my god, I'd get in so much trouble for them. And it all
Yeah.
involves dropping the soap. But and also there's doing your own charities. I might actually have to do that depending on how much mine costs. There's GoFundMe. There are ways to raise that money. I've seen a lot of people do it. As I said, I will probably have to do it.
Let him die, take his money. There you go.
Oh, I would. I love people that say, "Oh, I would never do that because I wouldn't be able to live with myself." No, I will show that old man the time of his fucking life.
I totally would do it if it meant that like my husband and I, if we had to like break up, and it all meant that like we could survive for the rest of our lives and be totally rich.
Hell yeah,
it's on the table.
I would rock that old man's world.
But like, yeah. I feel this is going to listen to he's gonna be like, what? Yep. Like, I'm doing it for us.
Hey, no, I know for a fact right now, if I told Autumn that we need to divorce because there's a rich guy that wants to marry me and he's going to die and leave us $1 billion, she'd kill me for not doing it.
It's totally understandable. You can't pass up that.
No, you don't. I can live with myself because I could do it and live with myself later on. I have no problem with that. Okay, so yeah, that's the cost of things and my little stance of actual transitioning. Never too old, and it's up to you. Before surgery, most of it can be reversed just by coming off of the medicine.
Yeah.
I probably will never get my fertility back. I will probably never get my size down there back, and my boobs will probably only drop a cup or two. That's it. But I would get all the physical benefits back.
Small price to pay.
Yeah, but currently I could care less because they're things that I don't care about. My boobs can just keep getting bigger. I'm good with this. I'm just going to say boobs one more time and then we can move to the next thing.
Boobs. I mean, it's a fun word to say, right? Like, you're going to say boobs, you better just say boobs.
Yep.
It's just fun to say, but boobs, it's so much fun to say that word. Anyways, now we get to go into the main part of our episode, which is talking about all of the anti-LGBTQ plus bills in the United States. Now you would think, why would you want to go into this direction? Because it's important. It's important to know where you stand in your state alone. Now, we'll also include this link in the information below so you can check to see what's going on in your state.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of it's bad. Like, some of them have been tried to pass, but some of them get defeated.
I will say, out of everything we mentioned that is passing, just as many courts are going, no, you can't fucking do this.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like you look at these bills and you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is awful. Well, it is and it isn't. It just depends on how you look at it. It shows you both sides of the court and both sides of the people. Also, this is just a really good way for you to become more active in your community politically.
Yeah. Because I can tell you from watching, and I've done these arguments on Twitter, and most of the time, if you see a post of some transphobe and a bunch of people are agreeing with them, most of them are bots, and most of them are the same person posting 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
They are heavily outnumbered. They're just louder, and just means we get to be louder. And nothing is louder than a bunch of gay people that have something to say. I've been to prides. Religious people never get to say anything.
Let's start with your state first. So north or south?
I am north, but just about as southern as south can get.
So our current have 11 bills. Oh, sorry, you go.
Actually, from where I'm at, we have 10, but it's 10 or 11. There's some that have passed, some that have failed. But the key ones that just recently passed are the Parents' Bill of Rights, gender transition in minors, fairness, and I'm going to put quotation marks around that, Fairness in Women's Sports Act.
So dumb.
It's so dumb.
So dumb. We've talked about this before you're recording, and it's so stupid, especially the chess one.
Yeah, but a lot of them are very redundant. Medical Treatment for Minors Act. There's a bunch for transitioning, and it's to protect kids. I know for a fact that if you stop transitioning, more kids would be harmed for it. Most of these bills without not even joking, will get people killed. Starting with my least favorite, and I think arguably my wife's least favorite, the Parents' Bill of Rights. While that sounds nice, it means that if a kid comes out to their teacher are asked to be called a different name or asked to be called a different gender, they must immediately go and out them to their parents.
And do you know what kind of environment that creates for the kid?
Where the kids don't feel safe anywhere now.
If the kid
Or
wasn't
the
safe
kid
enough
slips up.
to say it at home, but he or she felt safe enough to say it at school, it should kind of tell you something.
I've had more than a few kids come out to me. One, I love the kid to death, came out, wrote in a get to know you thing and came out that I am coming out as transgender, male to female, and I want to be called this. I still have that. I still have that letter. It is literally sitting next to me right now.
Did you have to report them?
Nope. Law hadn't passed yet, and I'm a substitute. Fuck you. But I've seen my kids. I actually had one kid that graduated last year, had gone through full trans, actually a couple, but one specifically. They started the year coming out as trans, started hormones during the year. I went 6 months without seeing them and then saw them at prom. I didn't recognize them.
Oh, wow.
And I actually came up after them and I'm like, I didn't recognize you and you look amazing. Awesome. Holy shit. And they just smiled. He smiled as wide as you can get because they truly did not. The man that stood in front of me was not the girl that started the year with me. And it was amazing. And I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of all of them. So the parental bill of rights, it might sound pretty, but it's actually quite dangerous. It gives no confidentiality if the kid needs something. The Fairness in Women's Sports Act, and note how it says women's sports. There are trans men that compete in men's sports and do very well. No one gives a shit because we have to protect the kids. It's not fair of women. When you start transitioning after a certain point, your body is now that gender.
Yeah.
At my peak, when I competed in track, I think my maximum bench was like 350, give or take. I was a workhorse. If I had to move something, if I had to lift something, if I had to do something, I physically could do it. Nope, not anymore. We had to move some stuff for my mom and it hurt. Because I can't lift shit anymore compared to what I used to. And I'm getting used to the fact that my body can't do that anymore. And there might be minor differences, but if you put a trans woman that has been on hormones against a biological woman, the difference is negligible if they're both trained to do something. It's just how it is. And the people trying to ban women from women's or trans women from women's chests is just calling biological women stupid, and they need to shut the fuck up.
It's dumb. Honestly, I feel like it'd be more challenging and more fun to include them because then that just makes it more of an interesting game for you to play. Now you got to figure out a strategy that would work best to win for you. I just don't see what the problem is. I really don't.
If there is one picture that goes around, and it's always the thing that trans people challenge it's not fair to women. It is a guy and a girl wrestling, and the girl is easily pinned. We're talking just simple, stronger male pinned her easily.
Say that's a Xena.
And well, there are always exceptions, and oh my god.
Yes.
But this guy is wrestling a girl and he has pinned her. And they go, well, you see how unfair it is to have men and women wrestle together? Cool. That's a trans male. The male wrestler is trans. That is the difference in strength. There is, and I don't want to guess, women and men are equal. They can do everything the other one can, but by base biological, muscle structure of men is a lot denser and a lot just default. It's annoying. It's really annoying. Because I actually miss being able to be a workhorse. I'm trying not just go, well, men are stronger, but it is biologically, athletically speaking, a male wrestling and a woman wrestling, they're very different classes. And it wouldn't really have to be. A woman can easily, I follow a woman that's dating someone in the magic community and she's ripped. It's incredible. She could throw me across a football field. Not saying that's on my wish list. It is. But it is starting at a disadvantage. The last one, and this is going to get people, this is going to cause so much pain. It's the gender transition in minors, because what people are reading is a child is transitioning. They're taking the things that I'm doing and putting them with a child. That's not how it works. It's not how any of that works. The general process for transitioning, and this does not include intersex children, which they just pick the kid's gender and do the surgery and done with it. Yes, that happens a lot, and it constitutes for a lot of the regret for transitioning, because the parents pick the wrong gender. It starts with calling the child by their preferred name and gender, presenting the proper gender. Gender affirmation, that was the word I was looking for.
Gender affirmation, yes.
Affirming their gender. You call them by their chosen name. You call them by their gender. Have everybody call them that way. It's something that can be reversed. If it's like, hey, I'm going to be talking from trans woman point of view because that's all I got. It's like, I want to be called she. Okay, get called she. Don't really like that. Cool. Thanks for the trial. It's done. That doesn't happen often because most of the time, if you feel like you want to be called that, you're good. Then getting closer to puberty, you go on puberty blockers. That doesn't do anything negative. It just delays puberty. If you get into it and you decide you want to reverse it, come off of them, you'll go through puberty. That stops it. And then at a certain age, you go into hormones, which once again are reversible for the most part. And yes, again, you'll lose things sexually, but the ability to breed does not make a person. And hormones up to 18, then you can start discussing surgery. There are exceptions to that rule. I had a student that I think in their sophomore year had top surgery, but that was a case of if they didn't, they were going to take their own life. Those are the exceptions to the rule.
Wow.
Most of the time, it is just the process of treat the child how they want to be treated. It's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple.
Call the kid he, she, they, mix, because we actually have a mix at the school. We have a couple now, one student and a teacher. Kind of awesome. Call them by the pronouns they want. Show respect. There's your first steps. Done. Pretty easy. And if at one point they decide, I don't really like this, you go back to normal. Done. Nothing changes. Except now you're smarter or you're wiser. But yeah, it's to take away the opportunity for a child to start their transition is dangerous. The number of times that I reached wanting to take my own life through my existence on this planet is not funny. I can't, like, that's the one thing I can't make jokes about. And I couldn't imagine putting a child through that ever, when it's just as simple as let them be themselves. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, you're fine. No, I was
running out of things to say too, because everything else it's been introduced, but even one of them is the prohibition of certain hormone surgeries in minors.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bills in Utah about gender affirming care, transitioning, parents being allowed to do this or that, what they can and can't do. There is that parent one that's also in play in Utah as well.
That's the big one right now, is basically outing trans and, well, not just trans, LGBTQ kids, period.
There's also some healthcare bills that was passed where you have to, and if I were to transition, I would not only have to I'd have to go to counseling, probably by my therapist plus another therapist, just to get what you said, like a consult to even get to that part. And then who knows how much further I'd have to go. There's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. And I'm like, I shouldn't have to jump through this many hoops if I want to transition. It's my body. It's my right.
I got very, very, very lucky getting my hormones. I only had to wait. I came out in September. So I say coming out, that's when I first started presenting female full time. And then say October, I looked into getting hormones, and I was able to get an appointment and start by January. That's not the norm. You could be waiting 6 months or a year or longer, depending on your location. And I could not have imagined waiting that long. I think my benefit, once again, was the fact that there was a mask ordinance out. So the part of my face that appeared male was hidden at all times, because I had quite a decent amount of facial hair, and it takes like 4 days to grow back now, and hopefully it'll keep getting like thinner and thinner.
Mine grows back really quick.
And I got the call from the UNC transgender group or whatever section. I got that call November 22nd. It's August 22nd. Next week, I will be able to talk to somebody about the surgery.
Wow.
That's it. I will get to talk to them about it. And we're estimating November. That's what the nurse estimated. It could be longer. I'm at a point now in my transition that if it is a year, it's not going to be detrimental. But I couldn't imagine waiting a year for my hormones. Couldn't imagine going off of them.
Would it be better, like more favorable, to go to a state that does support it?
Wouldn't hurt. Problem is, you still need the paperwork. Just to talk to an endocrinologist, I had to have paperwork saying I'm transitioning, that I've presented as female for enough time to say that I am trans. The only time that my male side comes out is when I'm around my grandmother. She's 80 something years old and has no idea. I hate it. I tried using a binder around her. I wore a binder for 5 minutes and I threw it away. Would have loved to have burned it because I hated it that bad. Now, I mean, she's luckily blind, so she can't see very well that I have a double D chest. But I mean, if it comes out, it comes out.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm gonna spin this to something a bit more positive.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
No.
It's a very positive thing, but there's a lot of negative shit I had to go through to get to it.
I just Susie said that she's more blind now, and I'm like, it's gonna be like that Red Riding Hood scene. We're just gonna be like, ooh, your chest has gotten much bigger now, dear.
Last time I was with her, I was wearing a tank top because I was clean. I was wearing a male tank top actually because it's a Deadpool one. Because I was cleaning part of her house and it was hot. And she looked at us like, "That's really tight on you, or that's really tight around your chest. Is that too small?" And I'm like, yes. "Fuck." And then she hugged me and she felt my bra, which I wear a sports bra most of the time because I have anxiety and the pressure on my chest sometimes can trigger it. So I wear sports bras. They're a lot more comfortable. And luckily it has a pattern to it. When you rub it's textured. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so happy I wasn't wearing a legit bra or I'd be fucked." Because she's 80 something years old, she knows what the band of a bra feels like.
Yeah.
If she had reached around my back and felt a band from a bra, I would have been just completely screwed. Which actually, my cousin recently came out. Like we're talking, I think within the last year. I'll ask them later. They came out as non-binary trans male. They started testosterone. Didn't know that, and now me and them are like completely like the closest two in the world because we're the rainbow sheeps of the family. So
for the sake of time, I probably won't to everyone's states. I'll just say this: currently, right now, the ACLU. If you don't know what the ACLU stands for, I had to Google it, and I lost my place. Let me go look for it real quick. No, don't pull up that website. God damn it. ACLU is the American Civil Liberties Union. Pretty much fight for everyone's rights, which is quite nice.
It's a very good resource to have.
They're currently tracking, it's a live tracking system. Right now, there are currently 494 anti-LGBTQ bills in the US. That doesn't mean they've all been passed. It just means these have been introduced into states in the United States.
Yep.
So if you go to this website, you click on the site that you're in, you can see all the different bills, what's passed, what's been defeated, what's going on to the next level. And then what I actually found out was if you click on your state, there's a little button in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that says take action in, and then it shows your state. So you can click on it. Let's say I'm in Arkansas, for example. You can take action, and then it gives you these options to sign a nationwide pledge, and then it gives me an option to send a message and take action now. But each state's a little bit different. So if I go to Utah, I think if I click on Utah, I can click and visit the ACLU of Utah, learn more about the bills that are going on in my state and how I can go about voicing my opinion against it and maybe even taking action against it as well. So it's a really good, it's a great interaction tool. Don't be put off by how many bills are there. Think of it as a really educational tool to kind of better your knowledge of our United States government versus us.
And as I said, most of the states where some of these the more heinous laws are getting placed, they're getting overturned by the court saying this is unconstitutional. We are not upholding this.
Yeah.
It's happening just about as fast as they can pass things. Florida, it's hysterical.
We don't even speak of Florida.
Well, at least we now officially have a 100% defined Florida man. He's currently the governor of Florida.
God, I hate him so much.
Oh, I do too. Oh my God.
Oh God, it's so annoying. You don't even need to click on Florida. You just need to know that Florida is anti everything pretty much at this point. It's not safe. Don't go there. Yeah. I know you want to go to Disney World, but guess what? There's a Disneyland in California.
Disney is trying to get out of Florida. That's how bad it is.
Oh my God. Did you hear? I laughed so hard because Disney was supposed to build this huge structure campus for a bunch of different departments that they have. And they basically pulled out of that deal. And it's a screw you, Ron DeSantis. And I'm just yes!
Yes. They did the thing you should never do. They fucked with the mouse.
It's so good.
Which, by the way, if you're a representative from Universal, we have Universal Studios. We have prime real estate between North and South Carolina. Move your park up here. Thank you.
Yeah, build some other places.
Not totally, because I want a Halloween Horror Nights right next door.
I just want to go to a Disney World that's not Florida.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked a lot about the history. We've talked about Ruby's history. We've talked about anti-LGBTQ laws, but we don't want to kind of leave this episode with a sour note. We do want to go over some resources that you can use if, for, let's say, you yourself are coming out or you're thinking about transitioning. There's a lot of great websites and resources out there. For instance, GLAAD, which is the Gay Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. I don't know if it's a campaign or an organization. I think it's an organization, but it's GLAAD.
Mm-hmm.
On there, they list the Trevor Project is an amazing organization. Trans Lifeline, which I'm not sure I've heard of it, but I'm not sure I know much about it.
They are one of the favorite charities for Magic. We do a lot of stuff. The Phyrexians for Change, Homebrew Deck Tech, stuff. A lot of the big groups, Birds of Paradise and all them, do charities for that. It's a really good resource just for information and help if you want to come out as trans.
Yeah, it looks like it's like the Trevor Project. It's a peer support hotline staffed by trans people for trans people, which is amazing. 24/7. And there is a number I do want to go over real quick. I'm going to backtrack. If you want to call the Trevor Project hotline, if you need someone to listen to you, you can call this number. And this is for the United States, 866-488-7386. If you're going through transitioning or you're thinking about starting to transition or you just have questions, or maybe you're just in a moment where you just can't handle what's going on, call the Trans Lifeline. It's 877-565-8860. And if all of that really doesn't seem to work for you, there's always the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That one is a big, major one. It's 24/7. It's free to talk to someone, which I think it's free to talk to any of them, really. It's 1-800-273-8255.
Uh-huh. And the cool little thing I just found, and it works. I think it works on the Trans Lifeline page too. I don't want to give tips for how to hide things, but I was one of the rebel kids. Trevor Project and Trans Lifeline have a built-in system. If you hit escape 3 times, I know on Trevor Project, you hit escape 3 times on their page, it will immediately close it, and you will not be able to hit the back button.
That's so cool.
I've tested it 4 times. It literally switches the page immediately to Google and clears that tab's history.
That's genius, actually.
So it is extremely safe because you just have to hit the escape key 3 times. I've tested it while we've been sitting here. It's kind of badass.
It's kind of cool. Well, I saw it on there, but it blipped for a second and then it went away. And I'm like, wait, what is it? So I've been trying to click 3 times, double clicked 3 times. I'm like, it's not working. and now it makes sense. If you hit escape 3 times, then it goes away.
Now it doesn't affect other tabs because I just tried opening multiple Trevor Project tabs and hitting it 3 times. But if you stay on one page for it, you hit escape 3 times, it throws you to Google and wipes the history. That's nice.
You can do that to other websites too.
I've never tried. I'll try ACLU.
I've just tried CNN. It doesn't work.
Nope. That means that it works on Trans Lifeline too. They built in a fail-safe.
Is genius.
Yep.
Good on them.
Well, Trevor Project is for youth, and sometimes, again, it's not safe to come out. And
in the event that you hear someone coming to the door, it's best to exit out.
Yeah. And kind of on the suicide prevention hotline thing, and all of these actually, because I just thought about it, it's going to sound cliche, but every time we have National Coming Out Day, I forgot what day that actually is, it's okay if you don't come out. If it's not safe, if coming out will put your life in danger, hold back a little bit.
It's October 11th.
Okay. It's okay.
Yeah. For
anyone that has to hide it, it gets better. It will.
There's nothing wrong with being in the closet. Why do we have to be in a closet, by the way?
It's, I don't know, because we're really, really fucking good at picking out fabrics.
I can't be a steam trunk. I'm just kidding. That's worse.
That's a whole nother drop down on Fur Affinity. But it's okay. It sucks. It's not easy. It makes life a pain in the ass to be someone who you're not, but it's better for you to push through and make it to that other side where you can be yourself and be safe. There are these resources that you can contact and talk to, but if staying in the closet will keep you safe for a little bit, There's no shame in it.
I didn't come out until I'm in mid-20s. So
I mean, I came out at 33, and my mom would have rather I come out as gay. So,
I came out, I never knew about coming out day, but I came out and it was rough at the beginning, but I'm glad I did it.
yes.
Because now I don't have to hide.
It's really, really cool. It's really nice on the other side of coming out, but if coming out will make you homeless, injured in the hospital, or dead, please don't. We'd rather you stay alive and we get to see you fly your true colors, period.
You will eventually get to come out. And when that day happens, it's going to be the best thing that ever happened to you in that moment.
I've actually said this before. I've said this on Twitter. I'm out and loud. I will gladly tell everybody I'm trans. Yeah, I know. I'm watching my levels. I peak more than you. I also have this condenser mic is sensitive, but I'm out and loud. A lot of us, everyone who's out and fighting and loud is doing it for all of you that cannot come out, because we're happy to take the risk so that y'all can be safe. Just because you can't be out and loud and marching and at pride parades with us doesn't mean you ain't there. Just means you're there in spirit, and we want you there when it's safe for you to be there.
We're also here to listen.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think of some sex online, some radio sex talk, just intro, and I can't think of what all of a sudden.
One came into my head, but it's more or less sound than it is actual talk. So whatevs.
Yeah.
As usual, we thank you guys all for listening in. We know this episode's going to be a little bit longer than you're normally used to, but it's a good one to listen to.
Yeah.
You can reach us on Twitter @FromTheMuzzle. If you want to send us a message, you can. You can just send us a message. For some reason, it's vetting our messages, but I do check to make sure that messages are coming through every day. Email us at talktothemuzzle@gmail.com if you just want to talk. If you're a minor, it's a little bit more difficult to give advice, but we are more than happy to listen to you and hear and read your stories and all that jazz. But we'll do the best we can. There is someone that I can refer you to. It's Ask Papa Bear. They're a furry in California. They've been doing almost like a write-in column. What is it called? Ask Janet?
Remember.
No, that seems to Ask something.
I don't.
It's like a Dear Annie or whatever kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But he'll answer your questions. He'll give you some advice and all that kind of jazz. So I'm more comfortable kind of pushing people off into that direction. Be like, go ask him.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Yeah. And then, of course, we have our Telegram group, too. You can come into and chat with people.
Yep.
All walks of life. So anything else before we leave?
All right, so as you heard at the beginning of the episode, Space had me track how many swear words were said in the entire episode. If you want to go ahead and take a guess, go ahead and email us your guess for this episode. But I thought it'd be fun to also take a tally of how many times they said the word boob in the episode. Specifically boob, not breasts. So there was a grand total of 16 times that the word boob was said throughout the episode.
Nope. It's actually 10 o'clock here, and I have to think of ice cream. So
yeah. So you're gonna go get your ice cream, and I'm gonna go.
Yep.
Sit on the toilet and poop. But that's more information that most people need to know.
Seeing as that I just poured out most of my life, I think you're fine.
Yeah. All right, folks. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.